If we were to get that money, I can tell you, because there's a time in 2015 we paid one musician 20 million. One. Yes.
Karibu. Tumeona muziki wa Kenya unazidi kupaa, lakini sasa unajua tuko 2024. Ni kitu kipi hiki ambacho utakifanya tuseme kwamba 2024 hapa Kenya itakuwa a year of music, a year of entertainment?
Ni vile chairman amesema, we need to play more local content. If you look at the list that we have, the top earner who is getting 757,000 is actually representing Tanzanian music and Diamond Platinum, the Zabron singers, Israel Bonyi, and other international musicians. These are the music that is played more in churches, in radio stations. So I think, like Chairman has said, you can't choose for people. Content is king. And that's why I always tell our people, sing songs that can be consumed even by family. Because if you look at this gospel, the reason why gospel is earning more or local content, when it comes to local content, is because Kenyans are Christians, Kenyans are religious, so they tend to listen to that more. But when you come to what is played in broadcasting stations, I think the evidence is in this list, that it is the likes of Otile Brown, Nyashiski, who are leading. We need to have a conversation to see what kind of music that is and learn from them, and then they can mentor the young people. So going forward, we are going to encourage the compliance with the local content quota. It's supposed to be 85% by now. We must love our music, we must love our artists. We are the customers. While I'm challenging the artists themselves to align themselves with the market and look at the demands and the dynamics of the demands of the consumer, it's also important for us to have a rule and be intentional about playing local music, be intentional about consuming local, and encourage our people to create. You know, we have enjoyed Malisafi Chito. It's a beautiful song. But people tend to like more foreign. So the things that we are going to do is to work with the Communications Authority of Kenya to encourage media houses to comply with the 75 to 85% local content. That's one of the things. The other one is mentorship, of course, to pick people like this, and that's why we have brought even the upcoming musicians to interact with the veterans, the legends. Then we have brought even members of parliament. We have really pleaded with Mheshimiwa, and she has been here since morning, because we also want them to understand the environment, so that when they're in parliament, they make laws that will assist us to resolve these issues, so that Kenyans consume more local content, they buy local music, and they consume local music.
Mheshimiwa, do you support that?
Of course, 100%, because myself, I have been a recording artist. So I know the hustle that musicians go through to get their art out there. And for us as Parliament, we must have a commitment to ensure that we have the proper and right legislation in place that will enable the Kenyan music industry to thrive. We have countries like Algeria, which are collecting around 10 million euros per quarter. That is where we want to get, because at the end of the day, it is about the artist getting money. And that must be the focus for all CMOs, whether it's MCSK, whether it's CAMP or PRISC. The focus must be to ensure that the artist gets the money, because they are the ones who go through the entire hustle of creating, of coming up with music, so that they can also entertain us. And as the Kenya Kwanza government, what I know is that the president is very intentional about creative arts and about supporting the industry. And as members of parliament, what we can do is ensure that we support him to ensure that all our creative arts are earning good money. I mean, we've seen industries like Nollywood, Bollywood, Hollywood. We would want to see that in future, and Kenya can get there, because we have many talented artists, but like the CEO has said, we must also be intentional to support Kenyan music and arts.
Yes. Maybe talking to Daktari, my question is, how is AI going to affect the collection of the royalties, and how is piracy, how has piracy affected the collection of the scientific
Our biggest challenge right now is law compliance. Can you imagine if what we are paying right now is out of 15%, 85% is out there. We said broadcasters owe us about 1.4 million. Matatu industry have not paid. And many restaurants, it's out of initiatives like this, the support from the ministry, from members of parliament, that now we are starting to get compliance. And that's why we had to pay 20 million this quarter. So the biggest problem is not actually piracy, because we have moved to digital, and therefore it is becoming a bit complicated for people to pirate the way they used to do in the 90s. What we are facing right now is law compliance. People are using music in bars, in clubs, in public service vehicles, in events, road shows, and so on, and they don't understand. So we need to raise more awareness for people to comply with the copyright. And then local content consumption, like Mheshimiwa said, we need to focus on that. The other important thing is, of course, Kenyans, that we know ourselves, no one will comply with this economic hardship unless there is some push. So either we create awareness, but also we have to get enforcement. The government has to play its role. It's a constitutional requirement under Section 40 of the Constitution for the government to protect intellectual property. Some of the dynamics that you're seeing playing out here is because, like most of the music, particularly the gospel, is just used for free. So use for free is not actually piracy. Use for free is a theft, but there's also a lack of enforcement. If somebody comes to your shamba and there is court there, what do? Do you start killing each other? You call the police. That's a decent thing to do. We are appealing to the police to execute their job and ensure that anybody using copyrighted music or works, they pay for it. Because you have a choice not to use.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you have a choice not to use. And then thirdly, we have not diversified the ecosystem where the money is going with the use of technology. And I'll come to AI shortly. A lot of money is in new media. It's in YouTube, on TikTok, on all these platforms. Mudundo, Boomplay, and so on. So people have always been focusing on the matatu, on hotels, and so on. Those are the traditional ways, and they are good. But we must sign with these new platforms, digital platforms, because it's easier to collect there without spending a lot of money on administration. So the moment we align that ecosystem, and I always keep repeating, music business is an ecosystem. CMOs will not succeed alone when the government does not have the right legal framework and they are not enforcing. The government must give the police to enforce the law to protect copyright, because it is the same as somebody coming to your shamba or your nduka and picking items for free. The police don't say, oh, those guys they can represent themselves. The police enforce the law, and we're asking them to enforce the law. These young artists here, they may not have the capacity to go to collect for themselves in every hotel. So they need MCSK to represent them.
Yeah.
We have to strengthen CMOs, support them, give them licenses. And lastly, we have to also look at the issues when we're talking about new revenue stream, like skiza tunes. Why are you only focusing on so little that we are collecting from matatus and salons?
Yeah.
I mean from bars and salons. And there is billions collected from skiza tunes, and nobody's holding anybody to account. So if we were to get that money, I can tell you, because there's a time in 2015 we paid one musician 20 million. One. Yes. Eric Wainaina. I have no shame to say. It's on record. Okay? From skiza tunes. Then people brought the same politics. Now artists are not being paid through CMOs. We launched blank tape levy, another revenue stream. Somebody went to court. We are now not distributing that money. Thankfully, it is being collected. So if you look at the ecosystem, we can work together and coordinate. There is a lot of money out there. We can raise over 2 billion in a year and make musicians rich. But we have a duty as leaders to protect them. Yes.
And maybe, Mr. CEO, looking at the next quarter,
Yes.
Do you have a target? And maybe how much are you targeting to collect for musicians?
We are actually assuming that we'll have a license, that we will not have to spend money in court. The reason we are paid 20 million is because we didn't have to get lawyers. Last year we began by taking Kekobo to court so that we have a license. Right now we have a license. We didn't have to spend that money. We have given it out to musicians. So we are assuming that all factors holding constant, we will not distribute less than what we have distributed. Our target is 100 million or more, but because we have also signed with the international community. So we can only wait and see, because it's an ecosystem. We might say we'll distribute 1 million, then tomorrow there's an issue that will cause us to spend so much money with the lawyers.
Yeah.
But when the environment, all factors holding equal, and the environment being as it is today, you will come here, you come back here in April, and we'll give 100 million.
And
to
maybe
artists.
finally, one question. Today, tumeona kwamba you have reconciled with the one and only Ssaru Manyaru. And the big question, because you have a video already online, people are thinking probably you have taken your words that maybe content should be in music should be regulated.
Ssaru is a young girl, and you have seen us. We have hugged on the stage.
yeah.
And there are many others like Ali Mukwana. Criticizing one does not make them your enemy. These are our members. They are the ones who pay my salary. So they will criticize me, and I will look for them, and I will apologize if I need to. The principle is, I have gone to school, I'm their CEO, I am applying what I know is the best practice. So when I advise them, I also do it without malice. So that we make songs, that a song is not just popular because we are singing it, but it's also making money for that artist. So it's a conversation, we are going to mentor them, so there's no reconciliation, we never end a fallout. I've seen Ssaru for the first time. Yes, ndio tumeonana mara ya kwanza, sinyoi kumuona tena. Lakini nyinyi mlichukua, wewe ndio ulianza hiyo story wewe. Wewe ulianza hiyo story. Sasa hatuna ubaya na Ssaru. Ssaru is a very gifted young girl. So gifted. What I was saying is, if we only produce one genre of music and we ignore the family, we are going to have a situation where people are popular but they are broke.
So you are still, sir, the message still stands. You say there are messages that go out there that are not good. For one, the song she sang, Kaske Vibaya Huku Kwenu. Last time you criticized the song. Does that change now that you guys have reconciled?
I have said we are going to mend our artists and our members, and we are going to have a conversation. When I say that, and you can check the clip how I put it, I was not criticizing Ssaru. I was talking about the context of which music is making money. I came from Kenya Film Classification Board, and I used to say it is the products consumed by the family worldwide that create money. So if you sing a song that you can't sing with your mother, you can't play it in your car, you can't play it in the house, you can't play it in the office, you are cutting off from the market. It's that simple. But that doesn't mean that she's stupid or she's not talented. No, she's an amazing, talented, musician, and that is a great friend of mine.
And I know every Kenyan is waiting to hear. Have you had a conversation with Ssaru concerning this particular song?
I am the one who invited her here. I
talked
tried.
about the song?
She's here. We are going to be here. We'll stay here. No, the song is not an issue. We are paid a lot of money. Do you know how much money she has got?
How much?
No, go and ask her. Yeah, but she's among the top earners together with Madil Safi Chito. They were competing, but it's not less than 100,000. Yes. So you are here running things that don't add value on social media and go home broke. Ssaru has walked home with over 100,000. So we can context. I am an elder. I will help my sister. I help my brother. Steve Simbo boy. We didn't have a quarrel, but he came to the office. I even the one who registered him to MCSK. And yesterday I looked for him. I'll tell you, some of them I even sent the money to come, and they're coming to collect their checks. That's how we mentor these people. So don't amplify small things. We have no issue with Ssaru. She is talented. You have seen her here. We have danced to our song, and now we are waiting to dance more. Yes. So there is no issue. But I'm just saying, when you spot such talent, then you guide them towards the products that will be bought by the family, that will be consumed by my mother. I'll consume them with my children. That's where the money is. If as a CEO, I'm ashamed to sing that song, or to sing a song so and so with my children, then where are you putting it? You are cutting it. So she's popular. She'll be popular. So you can see we have made an intention to reach out and say we are going to mentor you. Guys are talented. We are going to mentor you. But it doesn't mean that their songs are bad. Because when you are inspired to write, you write. When you're inspired to sing, you sing. But then we pick and say this is an amazing talent. This can be the next Jay-Z. Tunamumenda, tunamsaidia. So that's a conversation. We don't have a fight.
Alright, basi tukimalizia ndiposa tuwa release. I wanted mheshimiwa amalizie. I was requesting if you can talk to the secular artist ambao they are like music no. Music Kenya haijipi kabisa. Maana watu wengi ambao wamekuja hapa ni gospel artist.
I think vile naweza ambia wasanii wa secular ni wajue tunajaribu kupanga. Because when the Kenya Kwanza government got in power, the president hata may have meetings kadhaa sana na creative industry, because amesema anajua that this sector can support so many young people. So I'm just asking them, you have to have hope, because kama una hope, by the way, kesho yako hata utaipangia, hata utaamkia. So niwaambie wapate hope. Tunajaribu, we are going to do our best. As parliament, we are going to enact laws. Kama ni system, I know the CMOs will get the proper system so that we have a high collection margin, ndio kila msee apate pesa, at least wasanii wapate ndio wenye wanaweza ishi lifestyle comfortable nayo.
Alright, thank you so much for your time. Tunashukuru.